Welcome to Hoops Junction, and today we're talking about the Houston Rockets actually reaching out to teams trying to inquire about trading Dwight Howard. Now, we all could have said that we've seen the writing on the wall. Houston was an up-and-down team, and the Houston Rockets did not acquiesce to Dwight Howard and his post moves, or lack thereof, and feeding him in the post. We've seen Dwight there for past 2 seasons, and he hasn't really progressed. His post moves are still garbage. He still doesn't get the amount of touches that he needs in order to prove that he can play better. And the way that the game is changing with the up-and-down style of basketball, especially in Houston, the way they're shooting so many threes, there's not enough room for him to work for his strengths with his pick and roll and, usually get in the post or get garbage points because there's so many long rebounds from threes. So now the Houston Rockets, according to Mark Stein, they're wondering where they could get a trade from. And the way that I see it, Dwight Howard is pretty much, he's shown us he is what he is. In 2009, they went to the NBA Finals when he was with the Orlando Magic, and ever since then, his game hasn't progressed. He still has the same post moves. He still is doing the stupid little left-hand hook. He hasn't progressed at all in his game. He hasn't learned. He's worked with Hakeem, and he had Kevin McHale in his corner, and he didn't get any better because he went back to his same style of play. What's even worse is he never even really improved on his free throw shooting. And the funny thing is, it's not like it's impossible. Tim Duncan came into the league horrible with the free throw shooting, and over his career, he's actually gotten better to the point where it's not as bad. He could actually hit 1 out of 2 almost every single time. So that being said, I don't know. I know people want Dwight Howard, but I don't know if they're really willing to bet the farm like they normally would, because they see that his lack of work ethic. They see that he hasn't improved, and they see that he's a clown. And there's no other way to put it. And when I mean a clown, I shouldn't say that. I should say he is a jester. He likes to joke around. He likes to have a good time. He likes to party. Basketball is not his number one priority. His number one priority is having a good time, taking care of his children. He has just as many as Shaq. And I don't think him improving his basketball skill and being the best center of all time, or being the best center that he can be, is on his mind. He's just coming off an injury, so that lowers his stock price. And, just his mentality towards the game, there's not a lot that you could really do there. He stated that he did ask for a trade and he wants everything to work. But that's sort of the same thing that he said in Los Angeles. And see, that's the thing about people that travel in the NBA, especially when you're a superstar. And I'm really glad that LeBron pretty much made a decision after Miami to just go back to Cleveland. Because the more you travel, it just shows that you're not in it for the long haul. And you don't have that fire and that mentality to tough it out wherever you are. It's sort of like somebody that keeps getting divorced over and over again. They're on their 4th divorce, 3rd divorce, and they think everything is wrong with everybody else except for them. And that's the problem with Dwight Howard. He thinks everything is wrong with everyone else in the way that they're playing basketball, except for what he's bringing to the table. He doesn't see the fact that he's not averaging like 25 and 10 as a problem. He doesn't see that he has the same post moves as a problem. He doesn't see that a lot of times when he's on the court, he's hindering the progress as a problem. And that's a huge issue. That's a major issue for him. And that's going to be a major issue for the Houston Rockets trying to trade him going forward. Because Dwight Howard went from Orlando. The Magic have been to the finals twice in the past 20 years. Then you go to LA. LA has been to the finals multiple times. Then you go to the Houston Rockets. Houston Rockets have been to the finals, won back-to-back championships, have had Tracy McGrady, Yao Ming, Hakeem Lock, great. Everywhere he's been going, he's been having to fill these big people's shoes, and he can't do it. And it's no fault to him. It's just that's just his nature. Basketball is not necessarily the number one priority, and I get that. A lot of players are like this. It's not just him, you know. A lot you got to understand when you get a paycheck every other night or every other day, and it's marked 200,000 on it, 250,000. Basketball sometimes can elude you as being the main priority. So that's no fault to him, and I'm not a Dwight Howard basher. I'm not a Dwight Howard hater. I just think that if he gets traded at this point, it's on him this time. Like, it's because you left the Magic, go to LA. You go to LA, then you leave. You take less money. That's the insulting part for him. You gotta think about it. He took less money to be in a situation where he thought it would be easier for him to maintain, and now, not even 3 years later, they're thinking about trading you. So that right there, it's a gut check time. It's revealing that you have flaws, not just in your game, but in your personality. Because, honestly, his talent, Dwight Howard should be averaging about 25 and 10, 25 and 12. And he could average 30 and 10 if he really wanted to. Dwight Howard is a franchise center. You don't get to say that much these days. He's a franchise center. Where they at? Where they at, though? Where they at, though? You know what I'm saying? No, they're not. They're not around. So that being said, he has to understand that if he really wants it to work, he has to step his game up. He has to step his shit up. And unfortunately, he's not doing that right about now. And that's why the Houston Rockets put him on the trading block, which is crazy because they paid him all that money to come there in the first place. And I don't take joy in watching people get moved around and people get traded around, because it's just like, to me, it just shows like a lack of discipline, and it shows like that nobody was really ready to work through the thing, work through the issues. Like, James Harden wasn't really ready to work through passing the ball more and not playing one-on-one, and Dwight Howard wasn't really willing to work through getting his post moves better, being that guy that could command the double team. Because with all that talent and see it go to waste and get traded to like a fourth team, I mean, it's really disgusting. You're in your prime. You know, usually when guys are in their prime, they don't go anywhere. They usually stay in a one franchise. Iverson in his prime, Philly. Kobe in his prime would stay with the Lakers. LeBron in his prime, he kind of was with Cleveland. Then he went to Miami, but he's still in his prime. So he's back to Cleveland. You know, like all the greats in their prime, they kind of stay in one niche area. They don't bounce around like this, and this is a crisis for Dwight Howard and his camp, because if he gets traded again, then honestly he's damaged goods, because they're just gonna look at him like, look, dude, you don't come to practice often. Kevin McHale revealed that he couldn't even go to back-to-back practices. You don't practice often. You're laughing and joking around all the time. You still got the same left hand running hook. You're dabbing all the time. You know what I'm saying? If this was a Drake song, it'd be like, you're dabbing all the time. Dabbing all the time. And you got a left hand, it ain't worth it. You've been dabbing all night. Dwight Howard, you deserve it. But that's what I'm trying to tell you. It's just like, at the end of the day, it's time to call a spade with a spade. And Shaq was right. After all these years, people thought that he was hating on Dwight Howard. He had high expectations with Dwight Howard, but he just knew that, look, man, you're too good to be playing like this. You're just too good. It's sort of like if LeBron James kept having games like reminiscent of I think it was game 4 or 6, when he played the Dallas Mavericks in the NBA Finals, and he just couldn't score anything in the fourth quarter. He had turning the ball over. That's what Dwight Howard is doing his past couple of years with his career. He hasn't been able to deliver. And I know we could call it injury, we could call it new surroundings, but all of that stuff, injuries, he could have played. He played through the labor room. So if he couldn't play, then he should have sat down. So I don't want to hear anything about injuries, really. In terms of new surroundings and new place, who wanted to sign? You signed your name on a dotted line, and you knew what you were coming into, or maybe you didn't. Well, that's the fault of your camp. Because every city that he's been to, they know something about basketball, man. He's not going to like Milwaukee, or he's not going to how would I put it? He's not going to New Orleans Pelicans. He's not going there. You're not going there, buddy. You're going to big places where they expect big things. And now the hammer's coming down and they want to trade Dwight Howard. And it's sad. It's really sad to me. I don't enjoy this. I don't enjoy watching things like this. You know, him being a pawn at the trade deadline, and it's just going to be a lot of reshaping. And I know somebody's going to bite. Might be the Knicks. Might be the Heat. You never know. Hey, the Heat. Pat Riley, evil genius. He's working his magic right now. So he's working his magic in Miami, getting a guy that used to be in Orlando. So we're going to see what goes on during the trade deadline. I'm very excited to see the trades that take place, but I'm not excited for this to see Dwight Howard get traded. I think this is going to kill his legacy. It's going to cripple his career, and people are just going to look at him like damaged goods. But let me know what you think. Comment below. This is Vlad from Hoops Junction, where Hoops meets Hoopla. Peace.